here it is, the animation tutorial that I have accidentally built up to for so long. Sorry about the long hiatus in between previous video and this one. I spent some more time kind of learning more ways to modify the game, so my excitement kind of pushed me in that direction. But yeah, ready to jump back into it. If you're watching this and you want to know more about the game and you're not on the Koikatsu Discord, then you should be on the Koikatsu Discord server. I'll provide a link in the description where you can join in, and there's several channels where you can talk to other people who make mods, who make art, and almost any small question you can have can be answered there. Also, excuse my morning voice, I just woke up. Also, on the Discord is the timeline mod listed in mod sharing, which if you have the mod, hit Control T and it will pull this window up, which we will be using to animate a little dancing animation here. I guess without further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna start just by posing my character here. What I want to make is a headbang animation so that I have something to maybe put over music or something like that. So let me start just posing. I guess I'll just time-lapse this part because, you know, posing is posing. Now I want to think about how do people look when they're headbanging. They're usually here. You know, it's also good to look up reference. So let me look up a video. And I'm going to take off the mask here because it's getting in the way of the expression. Just got to figure out which one of these accessories it is. There we go. And maybe we could do that. Bring the knees closer. Some posing tips for you to make a pose that looks more feminine. Elbows inward towards the back really helps, and also arms kind of pointed up with like wrists kind of tilted like that, away from the body. If you see, that kind of really helps. Also, you want the middle of the body to kind of come forward, chest to be kind of puffed out, hips to be back, and as I was showing in the last video, knees inward really works as well. So this kind of pose kind of really is able to show off the figure more. Also, sometimes head tilted down works really well, especially if they're looking at you. Shows a kind of feminine quality. So if this is the initial pose that I'm going to go with for the animation, maybe I'll change it later, but we'll work with this for now. To work with timeline, it's very easy actually, compared to easier than what we had with VNGE. So what you do is to save the pose as a frame of animation. So you gotta think about like what parts of the body you're gonna animate. I'm probably gonna leave the legs staying where they are, but I think everything else is fair game. What we want to do is select every part of the body and go to this timeline window. So to use the timeline window, right, there is a help file which I encourage you to read. It's like literally just a tutorial right here for you. Shows you all the controls, but I'll just kind of tell you what I'm clicking as I'm doing things. So I'm gonna hold shift and middle click selected guide object position. Guide object is just, you know, game object, just whatever thing you have selected. And that goes for limbs as well. And like these points here. So we want to control the position and rotation of that hand. And let's do the other hand as well. Holding shift and middle clicking near frame 1. So what shift does is it aligns it to the grid. So you hold shift and you click across the timeline, and it will align you to the grid. You let go of shift and you can, you know, go frame by frame, basically. So we have the hands we have the hands positioned so far. And what we can do is, if we want to not lose these in the laundry list of positions that we're going to see, we can go in here, click this, click one of these, hold control, click all of them, and then we can right click and group together. And then we just we can name this new group, and I'm just going to call it hands. You can also rename these individual channels here. So this is the right hand rotation. So I'm just going to do R underscore rot for rotation.
And then we have the right hand position. So I do R underscore position. And this is just going to make it visually easier to see what I'm doing. So this is left hand rotation. L underscore rot.
So L underscore POS. Piece of sunshine. So then we can just, I mean, you can painstakingly rename all of these, but I think I'm just going to not. All right, so we have the elbow here, and so elbows are not rotate. You can't rotate those, so we just need the position. So hold shift and middle click, and they show up here. If you notice, the keyframe didn't show up here. The keyframes actually show up here in the list of objects that you have made a keyframe for. And if you hit all, like, okay, suppose we had more characters or more objects in the space that we wanted to animate. If you hit all, it will show them in this list, like no matter which object you have selected. So that really helps to visualize like where things are going with keyframes and stuff. So we have the elbows. Let's just make a group for elbows, and we just do this with every part of the body. So we do shoulders. And I think that's all we want to animate. I mean, oh, not really. Okay, so we want to animate the neck, right? Or at least the head here. I found that animating this part of the neck doesn't really help much because it looks weird. Like your neck doesn't really move like this, does it? So your head is more so doing all the movement. We're going to select that, and then we do select the guide object, rotation. That's all you need. What we can do is this is where the creativity has to come in, right? This is where we're going to have to apply some principles of animation. We'll just select the second pose to move to. Don't worry about where you place your second pose, because you can just move it around after the fact, and I'll show you how to do that. So we want to make another pose. So this pose is pretty much locked and loaded. You can go back to it anytime by just returning to frame 1, and you have that pose. Let me save this project real quick. Always be saving. You never know when you might crash or, you know, ruin something and have to go back. So let's make pose number 2. That's sad. You know, sometimes offsetting the hip a little bit can really increase the hotness of this animation, of the pose. Alright, so we do that maybe. I didn't really know exactly how I wanted it to look beforehand, which that can help. So we do that, and then let's just basically we can just go down the list, hold shift, middle click on the second frame, and that will give us our second pose. Now, is there anything I forgot to animate? Not really. Now you can, if your character's eyes are open and you want their eyes to move around, you can select, you know, the looking at position. Pretty much anything you can select, you can animate. And you can even animate stuff that isn't selectable through node constraints, which I will maybe make a follow-up tutorial on, or, you know, later on in this video, who knows. So pose 2. I'm going to save it just in case, and so we can see how this looks. So you can kind of test out your animation by sliding through it or by pressing the play button. Usually the speed isn't what I want first thing, so I usually adjust it. So that's very slow. So, but we can scrub through and kind of see how the speed is we want. Boom. Yeah. Come on. We want to make this that fast pretty much. So we could take the time scale and turn it up, but I am pretty much against doing that because what that actually does is it multiplies the time. So if you have your character blinking, and if their eyes are open, you know, they blink normally. If you turn up that time scale to like 8, their blinks are like freaking schizophrenic. So yeah, you're gonna want to not touch the time scale usually. You usually want to just like move the keyframes closer. So with that, we can change the divisions here, which is it's a fraction based system. So right now it says 10-10, but it's actually like 1-1. So if I just change this to 1-1, it's literally the same. So if you just go like maybe 1-2, then you have that many divisions. Let's do 1-3. I mean, if you wanted 3 thirds, I don't know, but let's do 1-2. I think that might be good. So what I'll do is I'll just select all of these, and I can just like select up to the top of the screen, and it'll select all of these. And we can talk about curves in a second, but I want to move these closer at least. So let's shift click to this frame. And then with all these selected, we just hit use current time. And so it'll just take your selected keyframes and pop them to the time that your cursor is at, your red cursor. So that might be fast enough. I don't know. I would much rather have it be a little bit faster. But here's the thing, right? It also has to do with the curve of the animation, I think, which is why it looks so stilted. Okay, so let me show you about curves. Right now, it's just moving statically from one position to another. So that's kind of a flat animation. There's not much life to it. And this is something I notice is like a lot of people just don't use curves, which is kind of a mistake because you want the curves definitely give life to your animation. It makes it snappier looking. You just got to know how to use them. And you can really just use most of these preset curves down here to like guide your character. So what you want to keep in mind is the speed of your animation's like movement and like having it consistent. So check this out. We want it to kind of be like a jump in and then immediately jump out. So actually to better illustrate this, I'm gonna copy and paste these keyframes over. So I'm just gonna shift over to here, and you could just use regular old Windows Control C, Control V. I'm not sure how I'm pretty sure Mac might be the same. I don't know. I haven't used Mac, so there we go. So we have that, and we can take this first bit. And what we want is we want it to spend as little time as possible being close to this frame, because this is like an extreme pose. We want it to like boom, boom, you know. So what we can do is have it speed up so it stays close. So the bottom of the curve is closer to the frame you're on. The top of the curve is closer to the next frame. So adjusting this curve is like it's staying closer to the current frame longer than it's going to the second frame, which has an acceleration looking effect. So let me show you. Boom. Like that already looks a little bit better. But let's select these ones and do the same thing but in reverse, so that it kind of like gets out of this frame as quickly as possible, which is right here. So it like jumps out of there and then spends more time closer to the next frame. So we have kind of a bouncing effect. Boom. Let's delete these keyframes. Okay. Big warning, do not press the delete button when you're trying to delete keyframes. That is how you lose your character and all your animation. Because your character is selected, the delete button will actually delete the character. And I don't know why you can't undo that, but yeah. We just go to here and we hit delete all. So we want to copy both of these and just, I guess, paste them again and again just for a loop, just so I can like see it in loop. Now that's a little bit better, but I still want it to be a little bit faster and maybe not have her bending so much into the animation. So I'm gonna just get rid of these loops here, and I have to use the bathroom, so I will catch you in a second. So I don't like how far down she bends like that. So what I'm gonna do is change this pose a little bit. I just kind of want her to not be so low. And so what we can do here is take the, let's see, what do we change? Well, it doesn't matter what we change because we can drag all these keyframes and just hit use current value. And what that will do is whatever whatever you have selected, whatever that looks like right here is what this keyframe is going to become. So we do use current value. And so now the pose that we just selected is that instead, which I think is just the least little bit better. I mean, it's not a full-on headbang, and I'm gonna have to like work on that. I mean, I guess if I was to do like a actual like rave looking headbang, it would just kind of look like kind of silly. But let's see. All right, again, that's not fast enough. So what I want to do, ah, dang it, this is why you save often. And yeah, you will run into stuff like that where you're just like, why did I do that? Just gotta be tough through it, and hopefully you made a save before you made that mistake. Use current value. Boom, we're back. So what was I doing? I was going to move these frames closer together. Let me hit a save just so that that's not a mistake I make again. Boom, boom. Oh. And we could just finish off on this frame. So it's actually 2 seconds long, so let's go duration 2. There we go. Which actually, we could just make it 1 because, yes, we only need that 1 loop. All right. So that looks okay. Now, the naturalness of the animation depends on the posing and the curves and the speed of each frame. And that's something that you just kind of have to develop a feel for. I mean, this is okay. It's not like mind-blowing or anything. One thing I noticed also, you want to play with the joint adjustment. So with this hand here, the arm is looking kind of weird sometimes. So let's check. Sometimes when you turn this off, it actually makes it look better. And this is just where we're at. We're just doing these minute changes to see what we got. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, let's go like a little bit forward. Yeah, you know what? We can do that. And okay, maybe increase the speed a little bit more. So we can do this. Now we can do that to increase the speed, or we can do it the lazy and quick way by selecting all of our keyframes. Like that. We gotta make sure they're all selected. So holding control lets you add to the selection. So all these are selected, and we can just hold Alt and scroll with the mouse, and we can make it just a little bit faster. Boom. Okay, but we're gonna see if we can get a good speed that we want. Now, since there's no blinking, I am tempted to just change the time scale. So we could do 1.4 maybe. But that does adjust the physics, right? So we probably don't want to do that. Did it delete all of our keyframes from before? It did not. That's something to keep in mind. Actually, what would be cool is if there was like a set animation end button. We can do that. Duration would be that there. I guess that's basically your set animation end button. So okay, to get onto a specific keyframe, to set your cursor on it without it being on the grid, you can right click. So that's what I'm going to do from here on. So I'm going to adjust the hand again because I'm still not happy with it. You want to be careful when you're like making quick edits. So if I didn't have my cursor here and I made an edit and I just selected everything, imagine I was like back here or like somewhere in the middle and I tried to edit the position. It's editing the position, but it's using this current frame's position as, you know, the thing it's changing to, which you might want, but you might not. Just be careful when you're modifying your keyframes that you don't overwrite your pose accidentally. Cool. All right, so we have this. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. And so we can put her in a dance party zone, map, whatever. Yeah. We raving. Rave, rave, rave. Here, I'm gonna give you a little extra bit of information. Supposing we had like an accessory or something. Here, let me demonstrate this with. All right, supposing we wanted to animate like an accessory or something like that. What we would do to get access to moving that accessory, say we wanted to rotate the wing or something, what we would do is use a node constraint. Now, I haven't explained node constraints yet, so I guess I'll just do that now. What you can do is parent one object to another by position and rotation without, you know, necessarily having that object inside of the workspace here. So if we go and we add, I just usually use a sphere as my reference object, just the thing that is controlling the rotation. So we have a sphere here, and we want to, let's say, move one of these wings. Open up the node constraint menu, so you hit Control I. So what we want to do is just set the sphere as the parent, and then we want to set the wing as the child, right? So what we do is we have her here, and we can go into our advanced search. Now, I just happen to know that the wing is controlled by A_N_back R right here. Set that as child. So when you're trying to move accessories, basically the A_N_, let me just type that in here. A_N_. This is the list of bones that you can attach accessories to. So there's lots of points on the body that are holding accessories right now. So if I did the waist B, that would move the tail. But I used back R, which moves this wing. So that moves every accessory that's attached to the back, the right shoulder blade. But if you wanted to move one accessory, what you would need to do is type in CA_ and then slot. And these are your accessory slots, like from the character maker. You just gotta like figure out which one is which. And the count starts at 0, just so you know. So you want to subtract 1 from whatever your slot number is for whatever accessory you're trying to manipulate here. So it starts at 1 here, but it starts at 0 in the actual list, if you notice here. It's just some tidbits of information. All right. So we have linked the sphere with the wing here. Now we could link position so that when you move the sphere position-wise, it'll move the wing position-wise, but I don't know why you would want to do that. We can link rotation. We set current offset. So if you didn't have the set current, it would snap it to the same exact rotation as the sphere. Alright, but anyway, we just add new. And now we have that as a node constraint. And so now when you rotate the sphere, it rotates the wing. Now, if we didn't have set current, we had it set to 0. We add that node constraint, and there we go. We just ruined it. It will, snap it to the wrong thing. And so, as you can imagine, you can just take this sphere, animate it inside of here. Add another keyframe. Let's use current time here. Let's just rotate it. I don't know, just to show you. Use that value. There we go. So yeah, that is how you animate accessories, and you can do that with pretty much any bone you can find in this list here for your character. So say you wanted to animate, I don't know, some facial KKPE style expressions, you can do that. I haven't done that, but you can totally do that. So say you wanted to export this animation to a video, what you want to do is just open up your OBS and scrunch this down as much as possible, maybe move it into the corner, or to make it even easier, you just hit Control T and that'll hide it, and you can make sure here at the beginning of the animation, Control T, and then Alt T plays the animation. That way, when you're in OBS, you don't have to come in here and show the menu. You can have your full screen being recorded. So just, there you go. You have your mouse maybe outside the window a little bit. Is that about it all there is? I'm trying to think of anything else that I might add, any other information. As always, you can leave comments asking specifics, and I might try to help you, or I might be able to help you, I should say. I will try to help you, but I might be able to. Also, you should really join the Discord if you want to really go in depth with figuring things out, because there's a lot of people that know a lot more than me even about this game and its engine. Yeah, outro. That's a fun thing. I guess outro would be, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Discord, I'm on fucking, I don't know. I post art, post animations, whatnot. Frick, just, why are you still here? Leave. Go animate. Don't go use go animate. Use Koikatsu to animate. Yeah. Use Koikatsu to animate. Who knows if I'm gonna use this footage here. That jiggle though.